Hey folks, Nick Tuckert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Before we get into our usual program, I do have some bills to pay. And, first and foremost, we have to talk about IndieCD.org, your one-stop shop for the best and brightest authors, musicians, creatives. Basically, if you're looking to hire an artist or an author, or you're a writer and you need an editor or a proofreader, cover design, please just go to IndieCD.org, the Independent Creator Directory. You can look up and find great folks who can help you make your dreams come true. I am not just spokesman for the site. I am also a member. So you can find me under indiecd.org/about-Nicholas-Tuckert if you want to see my site. Up until the 1st of January 2024, it is only $5. It is a special deal, and it will be going up to $40 in January. So please, if you are creative and you're watching this, and you want a safe place, go there. We are also made possible by the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, and the Simple Spear. My ongoing, yes, I said ongoing, series of sword fighting books designed to help you go from so you've never held a sword to being able to teach the art. Okay, we get into gear making, we get into technique, we get into so much. So please, if you love what we're doing, and if you are watching this channel, you must love swordsmanship. Look this over. I have several other books, including Melee, which was a game I made 20 years ago so that we could practice tactics of our small units while we couldn't fight because of weather. It's a great game. It's a simple game. You make your own pieces. This is a great place to go. All those can be found on Amazon, along with my horror novels and sci-fi novels and everything else. But the real people, the real folks who are behind what happens here are my patrons. These elite individuals are the ones who allow me to afford the trainers and gear to make what we do possible. Because a lot of times the people I work with who not only do not have they have physical limitations, but they also are financially burdened. It is not an easy thing to go from I've never held a sword, I want to, but I have a physical limitation that makes day-to-day life difficult, to being able to become proficient. A lot of the barriers stand in the way. And I have a bad habit of buying trainers and then giving them to people who might not otherwise afford it. I'm not a charity. Right now, I'm not a business. I am a business, White Boot Arms and Armory, but it's about helping people. So these people pay, some of them as little as $1 a month, to help me keep the lights on around here, help me make this program happen, afford things like StreamYard and the cameras and the gear to keep things going, and the products I review, which after Christmas I will be doing some more. But I want to thank them by name. Off in the Woods, Frog G, Ronald Rain, Lee, Kaiji Lee, which is now Lee Bao-jin, sorry, Brian K. Morris, Sidney Kep, and Steve Augusto. These fine folks help make my mission to help people be dangerous safely a reality. And if you wish to join them, your name will get added to the list. You get early access to all pre-recorded videos. You get to basically make a list of video concepts you want done. I will be spending most of early 2024 going through my list that I've already gotten from them. And that means some really new content for you guys and things I haven't done in a while. We're talking some crafting, gear repair and making. I may make a gorget in front of you guys. A few other things. I've had to wait till my hands were functional, and they are becoming functional enough. I think I can experiment and use the skills I have and manifest them in a way that you can learn from it. So it should be educational and entertaining for everyone involved. And like I said, as little as $1 a month helps me keep the lights on. I do need to remodel my Patreon. That's part of my 2024 expansion plan. I'm just a little swamped. I do want to tell folks that if you want to see me uh, and you have the means to get to West Central Indiana, February 24th, 2024, I am actually running a convention called IndieCD.com, which is an independent creator convention. I will be there selling books, answering questions, doing custom art. I'm a man of way too many talents and too little time. So if you want to come and see me and talk swordsmanship, ask questions, buy my books. That'll be a great time for it. I'm going to be talking it up until the day, but it also is keeping me busy. And I also, while we're here, want to remind you guys that you can go, if you go to woodenswords.com, which is Purple Heart Armory, and you use my link to go through it, I get a small portion of what you purchase, assuming you go through this link, and it doesn't add cost to you. And more importantly, they understand that I am an important advertiser for their company, so that when I say, "Hey, can you make this style of weapon in this material for me?" they're more likely to put it on the to-do list. And if we say people are looking for this kind of armor, or this kind of gear, they're interested in this, they want this books. We'll see. And that's what I want to do. I want to build programs within the community of HEMA and Western martial arts to ensure that the little guys get remembered. That everybody isn't, built like Jacques the Whipper or Conan. It can be challenging for people who aren't terribly tall or aren't terribly strong, or again have physical limitations or body types that are non-traditional for swordsmanship. And I want to help all of you guys be able to chase that dream and participate in whatever groups you want. And to do that, I need to build my rep up. The other thing is I want to make sure that this always stands as a Rosetta Stone between organizations. So through the Historical Fencing Guild, a Scadian can talk to an Amp Guardian, can talk to an Eastern martial artist, and they can compare notes in a open and free way. That's what I'm trying to build. That's what I've been working on building. And that's what I do. So please, through those means, you can support me in what I do, and I appreciate it. Now, the plan to discuss for today, before I look at your chat, is we want to go over kind of the things that happened in 2023, the pros, the cons, the ups, the downs. It has been a very interesting year for me health-wise. So I've had some real highs and some real lows. However, I've learned a lot from it. We did get a few practices in, which is good. We got some addendums to the list fields and stuff set up to make it better. We're just now waiting for probably spring so that folks can come out and throw knives and we can have fires and we can get this party started. Every year I try to think about the products that most influenced me over the course of this year. And I want to get into that briefly because I'm pardon if I'm a little, I'm still coming off of that illness. I spent 3 weeks very sick, and I'm not sure if I didn't strain some things in my stomach from being that sick. So we're kind of working towards getting through that. But I had some things that were asked about last week, and I had items that I want to talk about that most influenced. And this year's most influencing sword trainer for me has to be the I'll say they're calling it a wolf's head saber. It's gone by several names. You can find this on Amazon, usually around the $35 to $45 range when you add shipping in. It's a Wujiao weapon, and the reason I'm saying that this is my trainer of the year is because I started this year at some of the weakest my hands have ever been, and it was looking potentially like I was going to have to give up what I do. Now, spoilers. I got in good enough shape. I was able to do some wonderful things with Joe and Trelena Bachman. Put on a show. We got to have some practices, but it's almost entirely made possible by the fact that I took the two. I have taken these two, which I have two of these, and these are my daily trainers right now. It was light enough that I could hold it, but heavy enough to actually give a measure of challenge. And while I'm not sure how much I want to fight with these, they do work. I have concerns about the spiky bits on the pommel, as I am rather fond of pommel strikes. The curve here allowed for a couple things. First off, it for my weakened grip, if it slipped, it retained remarkably well. And because I could grip low on it, I could get a very orthotic grip because of the curve filling my hand, even though it's back a bit from where I normally, because normally I hug up right on the hilt to make sure my hand is protected as much as possible. But by having this very interesting hybrid grip, it really does allow for very strong controlled grip for me to go through my exercises. And by doing my exercises every day, I went from I could barely hold this up when it started, and I didn't want to admit it. I could barely hold this trainer up. The weight was too much for my hands. I was at a point where this bottle of well, it's not technically water. It is knockoff diet Sprite or Starry or whatever you want to twist up. But this would be real close, and I had to. My two-handed limit was a gallon of milk. That was with both hands that I could handle. Now my arms could handle more weight, but my actual fingers and hands couldn't. Now I'm not even sure what my limit is right now, but it is much, much better. But I found that by using this basic exercise, whoops, I don't want to break anything, which tuck your elbows and rotate out, has done wonders for my back problems. It's done wonders for the general weakness in my back. And I've been on a mission to rebuild, literally coming in from the fingertips inward. So I am rebuilding that way. It is ongoing, but these have been really the tools that I have used to get there. Now, PHA has some similar weapons if you want to go through PHA. But again, I bought these from Amazon, and I'm promoting them not because I get paid for it, but because they simply work. So I wanted to mention that. Now, I want to look in the chat because I was asked a question last session, and I don't know if the individual is here, but I was asked about sword canes. Expressly, one moment. I need a bit of a drink here. Especially about inexpensive sword canes. Now, there are some sword canes that I personally want. I want to say M48 makes one. Gil Hibben has made a couple. And yes, the name Gil Hibben is put on something that's live steel, it gets my attention. He's responsible for some of my favorite knife throwers in the world. The ones I use probably second most. First being the inexpensive, if you can find them, TW22s, the Timberwolves with the double edge that I cut the rubberized grip off of. But the best inexpensive sword cane that I have found is the Traveler's Cane. I believe it's called the Traveler's Cane. You get this through cold steel or equivalent. And the reason I rank this one over a lot of the others is, it's twofold. The vast majority of inexpensive sword canes have screw mechanics. So you twist and twist and twist to get the blade out. And that is not something that can be deployed quickly or efficiently in a self-defense situation. You're not going to have time to go, wait, here, hold off. This sword cane is held by two spring-loaded nubs. Okay. And I've seen this as cheap as $25. The ball on top is actually wood. I would recommend, because I have had the ball come loose, but I applied an adhesive called Fix-All. It's very similar to, whatever it is, 3000. It's a very, very reliable adhesive. And it hasn't given me any issues. Because it's wood, it's not as heavy as it could be, so the counterweight aspect of it doesn't work quite as well as some things, but you could very easily machine out a bearing with a stud or something like that to replace it. And because you can pop this out when you don't have it, modified so you can't, switching the head wouldn't be too hard. But the nice thing is the grip, it's not perfect because edge alignment is a problem, and we'll talk about that. But the grip has it's aluminum, but it has these lovely, very grippy, very comfortable without biting rings. It works just fine. That gives you two ways to unsheath it. The direct pull, which can be a little challenging, or I find just enough to decompress and it pops out nicely. Now, this is a Bud K exclusive rig, which means the quality is, of course, dubious. I have not stress tested this particular model. I don't quite like how it's plastic set in. However, the blade length is about 20 inches, and it is not even sharp. I mean, there is no edge on this. I have to put an edge on it. And since I do so many demonstrations with it, I don't bother really. There is a slight bit of an edge. I mean, we're talking like splitting maul axe gray to sharp at the end, and enough point that it would be quite formidable if you went for the pokey approach. If you went for a thrust from any of your main guards, no problem. But there's enough you can get both hands on it if you want to go for a two-handed, essentially ninjato approach. The ball will let you do all your mire wheeling. Now, again, YouTube, this is not edged. I am safe, okay? It is blunted. But this gives you, for that kind of style, it's light enough to easily fence and grip. The only hazard I find, and I really intend to one of these days, is put a grind or maybe crosshatch the back of it so that I can tell by grip for edge alignment, because this is a round hilt. It also has no guard for the slide up, which is why I prefer not to sharpen it. But For a truly inexpensive option, I am rather fond of this as a defensive tool. There is a part of me that, because it is rather rickety, is truly, and I mean it, truly tempted to purchase one of these, deliberately break out this blade, and put either a polypropylene or a short length, one of the new short length foil blades or something like that, to use it as a trainer. I am very tempted. So I may actually acquire another one of these if there is interest to attempt to do that very project. Because I expect this plastic that retains probably would break. It doesn't feel terribly strong. But having a really nice aluminum shaft that's long enough, theoretically, you could either use it for as a cane. It wouldn't be comfortable, but it's better than not. Or use it as a Batu technique, sword and sheath. Because your pullers, they're going to look at this. They're not going to see this coming. Is it a Historical Fencing Guild day if I don't, assault the audio equipment? Really? But this was asked about, and I said I'd go get it, and I wasn't able to. So here we go. It is actually a bit shorter than my training sword cane that I made, but that is a matter of preference and desire. So with that, I'm going to take a minute. Well, thank you guys who've been viewing and taking care of this, because we've had a lot of fun this year. This was, I believe, the first year that we started doing things like the Cursed Sword review, Cursed Armor review, General Armor review, things like that. And I expect to do more of those in the near future for the channel, because people seem to enjoy it. My list includes making and drawing from a scabbard. So we'll talk about draws. Staff training. Staying away from creeps is an ongoing subject we're talking about. I did do one cutting video before the weather turned. The back scratcher video still needs to happen. I'm not going to do. I'm probably not going to do the fight comparisons, because I don't want to bring up videos that aren't my own and react to them without express permission from the individuals. But we will see. But I have a list, and Mandalorian Jedi. We may actually talk about sword and pistol techniques, sword and pistol, the history around that sort of thing, because there is a time where relatively modern weaponry and swords were in use parallel. And because I am not limited to any point in history, we can talk about that. The most advanced springing to mind would be the Civil War and the Indian Wars in America, United States thereof, where you had cavalrymen who had swords and carried Colt Dragoon revolvers and things like that. So balancing these two forces is an interesting thing. And we may look at how they were carried, how they were taught. I'm certain that there must be late period manuals. I haven't looked for that. Gives me something to research. But we will get into the modern mechanics, because saber it's different. They train an A-frame guard. I did a little of it a lifetime ago, but it can really influence how you fight. But I've talked quite a bit, and I'm really curious what's going on in the chat. So let me get to the chat, and we'll start going through what's going on. And I need to do one thing real quick in the background because I need a link. Okay. Just a moment. This should be the link I need because I want to talk about something toward the end that's related to IndieCD. But first through the door is our own Foxy. Hey, Foxy, I hope you're feeling better today, love. You're early. Well, we're glad you came in and waited. And Cindy Cat says, good morning to everyone in the Philippines. How delightful. And hi, Cindy. Go to www.ckoepp.com. Wonderful author, wonderful lady, very generous. Thesis says, I need to get some pictures of journals and boppers I made so I can put them on my Deviant Art since it's the only link I have on IndieCD. That is a great thing to do. Absolutely. You doing a video posting what you can do is a good idea. And there are people who will purchase boppers. Cindy says, get some books on being safely dangerous from Amazon.com/store/Mr-Nicholas-Anthony-Tockert- Roman numeral 2, that's me, /author/B07P26PSF3. And tune in tonight for this show at 7 p.m. her time, 8 p.m. my time. And you can watch all our programs on this channel at the Historical Fencing Guild. Please hit the like button while you are here, because due to the nature of my channel, I get a lot of algorithm difficulty. So please help me keep doing what I'm doing. And drop into the tea room on alternating Saturdays, youtube.com/@bladedthesis. And Foxy saying, evening, folks. Catch up with Nick's art at deviantart.com/NickT. And support my efforts at teaching many to be dangerous safely, patreon.com/the Historical Fencing Guild. And yes, she asked for it. Please help send a pile of folks to ICMAC International Chinese Martial Arts Competition. I missed the C. I just missed that up. bit.ly/shadowfist5050, or you can contact her directly. And Foxy asks, how is everyone this evening? And follows that with progress. I assume that's related to what I've been doing. Cindy says, fair to Midland, not quite Odessa. Fair enough. Even if your sword cane is totally blunt, you can whack the eternal fool out of someone with it. Yes, you can. Sword canes are not to be taken lightly. And we're joined by Devil Flower. Hey, Devil Flower, haven't seen you in a while. Hey, all. Hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. Mine was a bit of a challenge because I've been extremely sick for basically the 3 weeks leading up to it, and I still am dealing with the ramifications. So we have that going on, but it was a good time. I got to spend it with my most of my family, and very soon I get to see the rest of my family sort of staggered because I wasn't able to make the standard, Christmas Eve day thing over there. And yay, my back scratcher. Yes, back scratchers will be discussed. I am still trying to decide which is the absolute best. It's a challenging question. And Nice bone dragon. Thank you. That is something my wife acquired for me, and it is like I'm trying to get back enough to but I don't want to juggle it through right now. I've used that as a miniature during a game I ran for the kids at the Benton County Public Library. I love running RPGs for them. And I think my dad might have had some of those military manuals. Next time I'm down there, I'll have to look through his stuff. That would be amazing. And 2024 is going to be the year of the dragons starting mid-February. Dragons everywhere. I'm looking forward to that. I hope you capitalize on that, Cindy, because this is going to be a really great chance. Now, I think everyone here is on IndieCD, but because the deal ends the 1st, I do want to remind folks that, whoa, that is not the link I was looking for. Deleted. That we will need to, that if you want to get it for $5, you need to join now. IndieCD is a great option. But February 10th is Lunar New Year. Thank you. I'd rather some of those things go to people who will cherish them. I think anybody who has that kind of manual hopes that that's what's done with it. Year of Shiryu. Hey, Johnny. And let's see, Cindy says, I prototyped a couple Eastern dragons. Both are smallish. One can hold onto your shoulder or something of that sort. That is delightful. I do like Eastern dragons. They have a whole different energy to them, which sounds like some kind of pun or joke, but really isn't. Oh, how cute. I think so. But I want to ask you guys in the chat, how has your martial arts, your 2023 journey in what we do progressed? How are you doing? Because I know Foxy did a lot of weapons experimentation. Thesis has done physical recovery. Johnny just is Johnny. We expect that. And Cindy has been, growing leaps and bounds as a Eastern martial artist of no small water, and I'm incredibly proud of your progress. And oh, how cute! And good morning, Miss Saren. Very good to see you. I really want to make sure that you guys, as you end this year, those of you who have engaged in what we do, think about your progress, because it can be hard. The only way to progress in a martial art is to put in the hours. And when you are doing it, in the short run, you don't see or necessarily feel your progress until a certain amount of time has passed. And then, you start to realize it. That doesn't mean the people around you won't notice your progress, though. So I want to see how you're doing and where you're going. And then we're going to talk about what you guys want to be focused on in the coming year. And it's been a long year with lots of medical stuff, so I haven't had a ton of progress other than finding out which doesn't work. Now, that's an important and vital thing. Finding out what doesn't work saves you the time to and energy from staying focused on it. A lot of people will get onto something and hold on. So we need to find what appeals to you and what works with your current condition if you are up to it. If not, there's a lot to be said. But I will say this: regardless what you end up sticking with, I will say as long as your joints can handle it and the SSO, that sword simulating object, is light enough not to be a problem, going through the drills that I tell you guys to will do a lot to develop the muscles. Now, why is developing the muscles so important outside of usual case studies with getting stronger and stamina and all that? I like many others, have a hypermobility condition. They're not real sure what it is. They're not sure why I have it, but I have hypermobility in my joints, which can be very damaging. And it provides its own challenges. Now, what has been found is if you have joints that pop out regularly, like my right shoulder does, uh, the best thing you can do is slowly build up and strengthen the musculature so that the musculature can help hold the bone and joint in place. Slow, careful work, Tai Chi, uh, going through the basic drills. Like I said, I've done the videos. You can look my very first video. It's in vertical format, so it's great to just put on your uh, phone and use as a guide. Recently, I did a vaguely updated one at the Benton County Public Library. I may be doing another version of that sometime this spring, given the way I am physically redeveloping, so that I can hopefully give a more, we'll say, concise and a more controlled demonstration. I want to improve. But I really think that can work on with you quite a bit. Now, let's see, where are we in the chats? Because I've been prattling. Johnny says we killed a ship, killed a sheep today. Poor thing never saw the Posada Sato coming. Oh my. We're going to move trucking on. Well, says Cindy, I learned the 108 move slow form Wu style, a slight mutation of the fast form, a fan form, two double sword forms. They're related, but one is with a partner, and started learning. And it's going to be way down here, so I have to get it. Push hands, which includes how to apply the moves in the Wu style forms. This is beautiful. Cindy, your progress is just amazing. You're finding your niche and you are growing there. And for a lot of us, it's kind of like being a dandelion in the sidewalk. You find that little groove where, hey, I fit here and no one's bugging me. And you grow and that groove expands and expands and expands as your roots dig in. So I'm really glad to see that coming forth out of you, Cindy. And I'm glad that you're in a situation to train. Now, I am curious on the sword forms. I know your roommates had exclusions about swords, so I wasn't sure how you were able to drill. Are you using SSOs? Are you only working on that when you were at the dojo or Soleil or whatever the gym, whatever your training facility is called? I'm curious about that. And let's see. Voice text being racist. I fully understand that, but I'm glad it got fixed. And good evening, Foxy, says Miss Saren. And I'm going to be brave enough to try to compete next summer. I'm less concerned about forms because I know pretty well, but push hands is going to be trickier. You win by competing, in my opinion. You have gone so far, so fast, with so many challenges that simply being able to compete is a victory. You are walking on to that uh, ring, that battlefield, already a winner. And you do have one of the sharpest minds I've encountered in a long time. So I really believe that if you are able to remain calm, remain confident, the skill set you've developed and your assessment of your opponent should be sharp enough that you will do better than you expect. I really do believe that for you. And Thesis says, you can do it, Cindy. Seeing how much progress you've made in videos you've posted makes me have faith in you. Absolutely. And please follow Cindy's YouTube channel so that you can see her progress. Thanks. You do really well, Cindy. Oh, okay. Yes, my roomies do not approve of swinging swords, so I'm using 2 half-length dowel rods unless I'm at school. That is beautiful. And the proper term in Chinese martial arts is Kun. Good to know. See, I love that on my own show I get to learn things. This is the joy of a group like this because, I mean, I get to learn things uh, from Portuguese traditions. I get to learn things from sort of Eastern traditions. It's really impressive to me the value that you guys bring in the chat to these programs. It's so much better than it would be if I were just sitting here prattling. And thanks, Foxy. I'm keeping on. Well, we are 2 days from the new year, and I'd like to know what are you going to do about it? No, we're coming into the new year. What is the direction you want to go? First off, what do you want from me as my viewers and my patrons, in the case of many of you? And what are you focusing on in the start of the new year? I know some people come in with the New Year's resolutions. They're going to lose weight, get in shape, get stronger, etc., which it's a great time to do. It's time to pick up new techniques. I want to know what you guys are focusing on. Now, by the look of Cindy's catalog, for example, she is planning on focusing on prep for her competition. That is it's a great thing to have, and it's one of the things I miss having left the society. I had certain events I was able to go to. There weren't many due to my finances, but having them as a beacon to build towards what was always very motivational. And I found coming back out of them, it recharged my batteries in a very specific way. Because I usually would come in second place in the tourney. Almost always came in second place in the tourneys I ended up in. For a myriad of reasons. Occasionally, the dude or lady was just sufficient enough to beat me. Sometimes the people wouldn't take hits. It happens. But the act of being tested and seeing where I am and finding, okay, this is a great way for me to find my weaknesses. I need to work on this or that. Really helped. So having something to build towards is a great idea. Cindy says, my teacher tells me I have some advantages even at my size. I can twist out of the way and deflect easier. Folks underestimate littler competitors. I'm also going to focus on fixed step, and I'm going to skip ahead to hit follow comment. can't move your feet. So hopefully my hip will be less likely to be a dork. And that is both a reason. This is what accommodation looks like. This is what adaptation looks like. Knowing your weaknesses, knowing your strengths, building towards your strengths, and limiting the damage to your weaknesses. This is something that I love to see. It's thought out and it's brilliant. Johnny says, you keep doing what you're doing. I'll need more of that. All right, Johnny, I am here. If there is something specific, you let me know, because I want to help. And Foxy says, I want to focus on relearning my art and expanding myself. That is a great approach. That is a great methodology. I like that mentality. Go for it. And Johnny says, as for me, more muscles, more drawings, more money, and leaving footprints on some people's skin. Johnny's going to go out there, kick butt, and take names. And with the skill level you have artistically, my friend, you should be. You just should. I'd love to see you do some more sequential stuff. I'd love to see you do something that I can, even an art book, just a flat out art book that I can promote for you, and we can get more eyes on you, because you're just too good at what you do, Johnny. And you're, because of your football and soccer, no confusion, you are doing it's a tremendous sport for athleticism. And all of that level of athleticism really transfers to martial arts. People don't want to talk about, but one of the problems I find with many American martial artists is they may be skillful martial artists, but they are not skillful athletes. So they have the skill set to inflict pain and damage and block and technique, but they lack the physicality of endurance or long-term stamina, basic strength. So you can have the technique, but if you're not strong enough to power it, you either have to use specialized technique or abandon it because it won't work. So having a base of athleticism at your age especially puts you in a great place to do martial training, and it puts you in a great place to progress in other things. Let's see. Cindy says, God willing, my plans this year include learning push hands, competing at ICMAC, learning the drum part of the line dance, which is very cool, level up at least once this year, and picking up another form or two. That is a great option. And I mean, that's a great plan. You've got flexibility, you've got concrete goals, and you've got nebulous goals you're still forming. This is a good mix. That's what I like to see. You want to have goals, relative deadlines, and that's what you do. Thesis says, my plan for 2024 is to try to get back where I was in the Wudang snowflake sword before I broke myself. I also want to keep doing my streams and hopefully get better and more viewers. You just put in the work. That's going to be the solution to just about everything you're doing, Thesis. Just slow down and put in the work and listen. Listen to your body. Listen to your training materials. Listen to the feedback from the sword. I'm going to tell you, swords are talkative. If you're handling things with a sword, the sword is very talkative. If you're sparring, especially, there's huge amounts of information that get transferred through the sword. But as you are doing different forms and things, even with a proper trainer, you can hear the difference if it's the right kind of trainer, in blade alignment, whether it's proper or not. Now, there's a lot of accusations that the uh, Purple Heart Armory trainers are too simple for that. I will tell you, I can feel the wind resistance difference if the blade alignment being proper versus not. And by listening to our bodies, we can stop before a problem becomes bad. We can stop, we can move forward. We have a lot of options. And I think you're going to excel in ways you don't expect. Johnny says, "Cardio, my gringo friends. Let's play a 90 minutes match. It will do you good." And Foxy says, "I'd be done in 10, I'm afraid, because I'm not 20 something or more." Now, I will tell you this. Up until very recently, even though I'm short, fat, and wobbly, I had far more stamina than most of my students. The recent adjustments in my illness and conditions, and the very recent 3-week bout of being extremely ill damaged that. But I intend to build that up. Jai says, "I'm getting back up there myself. Injuries had me on the shelf, so a full match is still a challenge." Well, see, then that gives you a great, even if you're just using it for sport, it's the same mentality. You listen to your body, you find, hate to say it, the difference between the good pain and the bad pain. You work yourself till just, the goal is to go work till just before you have to stop, and then stop, rest adequately, however long it takes you to reset, and do it again. And that sort of interval will build you up. Also, remembering that to heal, you need sleep and you need proper nutrition. It's the only way to do it. Well, this might be your year then. I think so. Weirdest practical medical advice I got this year: have a concept of normal pain. Yes, if the pain is in the normal sort, keep moving. If it's not, stop and seek help if it doesn't go away. Yes. When the doctors ask me, "Well, what's your pain level?" and I have to go, "Do you mean what you consider my pain level, or I consider my pain level?" Because my normal level is at this level here. But for anybody else, that would be this level. So because adaption. So we really have to understand that. And no, that's actually great wisdom, and it's a necessary wisdom that has to come with age if you are still doing things with it. And Foxy says, "For what I deal with, I have a lot of strength, and if I pace myself, decent stamina." And that's the trick. You have to pace yourself. In the recent years, I've had to build up from absolutely nothing. So if I hold myself to the standards of where I could have been had I not been injured or sick, it would be problematic. But if I hold myself to, excuse me, to standards of my progress and going where I was, have I consistently been improving? Then I can look at it and go, yes. And I think you're in the same boat. You also, we have to be careful when we have spouses or friends or people we socialize who are dramatically healthier in ways that we're not. You can't set your scale of progress by the external scale. Okay? At least not when you're doing the kind of build up and development that you're doing now. If you can handle it, like I said, just start doing your drills. Do a couple a night before bed. And I mean, I had to start with I had to build up to 5 of each guard, and there were days where I could only do 1 of each guard, and it was pain, bad pain. But, the progress and it took a while, and there are still days where I'll go, "I am not up to it," till I start, and sometimes I find I am, and sometimes, "Okay, I can only do a little bit of this," or, "That doesn't feel right, I am not doing that. I can do this, though, it doesn't work that." And you do the best you can, and it will slowly and consistently build up. And Johnny says, "Oh, well, I can show you good pain." Kinky Johnny, just a little, uh, but all the more fun for it. Thesis and Foxy have vastly different levels of things. Yes, and I I I don't want to put this because it could sound negative, but I believe that Thesis's injury gave him an opportunity. While it cost him physical strength, it rewarded and gifted him with a good deal of wisdom and a good deal of perspective that in the long run will make him a much better instructor and a much better fighter. So you can't hold yourself to his standards because your body does not work like his. Um, it is not built like his, thankfully. Um, so you have to work with what you have. The other thing is, as you age, your body works differently, and it can be more hesitant to do some things. It can be more willing to do other things, and you have to deal with that. But in dealing with that, you can really grow, and I think that's something we all need to work towards for 2024 as we progress. As we get into it. Uh, Physical education, not in I'm doing this many jumping jacks. No, understanding what your body does, what it can do, why it does what it does, and what can be done to address the negatives is always a good start. And it is always a good place to come back around to. I think that's one of the gates we pass through. He's become a lot more patient with me. Yeah, and that was something I think, and this is not me bashing Thesis in any way, shape, or form. I love the man, but it was a point where he got to learn because when you haven't been sick, disabled, when you haven't been knocked down to that level, you you don't know what it's like. It's what I call the Waterloo. You have to at some point in your life be tested and fail. And be tested and fail colossally because that teaches you a few things. One, it teaches you that you can survive failure, you can survive embarrassment, you can survive uh, problems. And two, it motivates you because a part of you will say, I never want to be that way again. And you know, there is a saying, it's from an old movie, and I can't remember which, but a man has got to know his limitations. And I think this is why I believe everyone should engage in some kind of physical uh, conflict. It could be under safe guards, but boxing or wrestling or sparring, some kind of actual physical exchange, because people need to not. It's too easy to be deluded about your prowess and your capabilities. A great many people are entirely too optimistic about these things, to the point where there are a large number of people in America, a lot of men you ask if they could fight a bear, they'd say, "Yeah, I can fight a bear," and they really believe they can. This is a dangerous level of false confidence. Now, I want to build confidence, absolutely, but it needs to be wise confidence. It needs to be informed confidence. So this is why martial arts have to be stress tested. This is why you have to do something with it. That's why I'm so happy to hear that Cindy's doing push hands, because she will be able to test her skills. And even if she fails colossally, she will have then known, okay, this is what happened. I hope you have it recorded so that you can say, okay, I did this, I didn't do this, and break it down. Foxy says, 2024, the year of one more. I like that. One more rep, one more try. Fall down 7, get up 8. It's just the way to be. And Jai says, can I just watch other people fail? I'd like to avoid that myself. In a perfect world, perhaps, Johnny, but you are smart enough that you will learn so much from failure. Because I will tell you a secret, guys. In my age, except for the possibility of very, very few things, such as me not being able to prevent the death of someone I care about or myself, or injury or maiming or something like that. Aside from that, caveat, I don't fail. I either succeed or I learn. And if I hit the learn, I'm going to figure out why I failed. And then once I know why, I'm going to do something about it. And if I can't figure out why, I'm going to go to actual experts I trust, not just people who are blowhards, and ask their opinions. Because never take criticism from someone who you wouldn't go for advice. And learn. So failing sucks, but you learn so much from it. I can't in justice wish you not to have that. 24 for rebuilding. Fox says, oh, I could fight a bear. I'd lose, but I'd give it my best. So I'd rather chuck a Twinkie at it and run away. That's beautiful. But and I do love applied cowardice. You should. Let me think. If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, stay down. Which a black bear you can usually repel with aggression. A grizzly bear you cannot. That's you get down, you cover your head, ball up, and you just accept that if you are going, there's a good chance you're going to be mauled. So you pull your limbs in as much to hopefully keep as much of them as you can. And if it's white, you're just dead. Yeah, a polar bear is just going to kill you. That's just, hopefully you can get in the car. But yes, I did just break down the general standard applied situation for bear fighting. This is an odd channel. I am not an expert. That's just stuff I picked up from assorted wilderness training things. That's okay. Johnny says, what if I have a Coca-Cola for the polar bear? Oh, Johnny, you don't have to worry about polar bears because you don't believe in the existence of cold. No, this is hilarious, but it's actually quite true. How do you tell a black bear from a grizzly? Climb a tree. If it climbs after you, it's a black bear. If it knocks down the tree, it's a grizzly. You aren't wrong. At one point, my parents and I were vacating. I'll give you the short story on the end. It's a tangent, but you guys love this stuff. We were vacationing when I was young, and we had stopped on our way out west near Yellowstone in a park that was very much in bear country. And we were all asleep. I was in the, all I can remember, crystal clear. It was a nearly full moon. It was full moon or very near, so it was very bright out. And my dog was asleep, and I was sitting, in my seat. We were all sleeping in the minivan, old Silhouette minivan, 1998, I think. No, not 98, 95. But I was by a window, and I woke up and I saw an owl's shadow pass over. I thought, that's beautiful. And I looked at the woods and I saw motion in the black, blacker than black, something moving. And a big kind of wobbly blob thing moved and went up on the picnic table and messed with something on there. And then it sniffed up and moved closer and realized it was a bear, a very large bear. And it got about this far. The bear's this far from the other side of the window. And I'm looking out that window, and I went to scream. And a squeak came out. I was scared silent. And this bear and like fogged up the window for a second. And it sniffed, and I'm like, we've got food in here. The bear's thinking about trying to come in here right through my window. This is not good. This is not kosher. No, 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 not good. And I was freaked. And it huffed a few times and decided it wasn't worth trying to get into the car for whatever reason and wandered back out. And I was up the rest of the night. I did not move. I did not blink. My parents to this day say, oh no, Nick, you just had a bad dream. It was just a nightmare. Don't fight bears. But what you can do is keep your guard up, keep your eyes open, be kind to yourself and each other. And as always, friends, thank you for supporting your local swordmaster. I will see you all very soon, well, next year, for another episode of the Historical Fencing Guild live stream. I'm expecting to have a lot of fun next year. We'll do more armor reviews and shenanigans. We will do a lot more crafting, I think, in the near future, while I am recovering and getting some things back in order. And I think it's going to be a good time. So thank you for your support. Thank you for being the awesome people you are. And thank you for sticking around. You know what? I love you, and you should too. Toodles, folks.